Today we're going to practice finding the slope of a line and a point on that line when given an equation in point-slope form. So let's get started. Previously, we practiced writing an equation in point-slope form when we were given the slope of a line and a point through which it passes. Again, this is called the point-slope form of a line because to write an equation in this form, we need to know one point that's on the line, any point that's on the line, and the slope of that line. So in this equation, we know that the slope of the line is 3, and it passes through the point -2, 5. So we have this information. We have the slope, and we have a point. So -2, well, that's our x1 value, and 5 is our y1 value. So now we can plug this into the point-slope form, and we end up with y minus 5 equal to 3 times the quantity x minus a -2. And so this is the equation in the point-slope form. But if you notice, we kind of have this double negative. We're subtracting a negative. So let's simplify this out. And we end up with y minus 5 equal to 3 times the quantity x plus 2. So notice, when we had a negative coordinate value, we end up with addition because we subtract a negative. When we have a positive coordinate, we'll end up with minus that value, so it can remain as subtraction. So here we were given information about a line, the slope, and a point on it, and we were asked to find the equation of that line. Now let's go in the opposite direction. So here we are given a linear equation, and we're asked to find both the slope of the line and a point through which it passes. So the name of this form is the point-slope form. And in order to write an equation in point-slope form, we need both a point that's on that line and the slope of that line. But we can also look at this name in another way. So when we have an equation written in point-slope form, from this information, we can find both a point that is on the line and the slope of the line. So here we have the equation of the point-slope form of a line. Y minus y1 equal to m times the quantity x minus x1. So let's compare these two equations. So on the left side, we have the variable y minus some term. And now for the formula, we have y minus y1, and our equation is y minus 7. So in our equation, we have y minus the positive number 7. So when we look at the ordered pair, that point that is on the line, we can say that the y value, the y coordinate value, is 7. And now we have the slope, and our slope value is 2. So we can bring down the 2 for slope, and slope m for this equation is 2. But now let's look at this quantity. For the point-slope form, we have x minus the x value of that point. But in our equation, we have x plus 3. So how do we go from subtraction to addition? Well, we can go from subtraction to addition when we subtract a negative. So in this case, we have x minus a -3. X minus -3 becomes x plus 3 when we simplify. So therefore, the x value for this point is -3. So therefore, this line passes through the point -3, 7. And we have now found both the slope of the line and a point through which it passes. Let's practice finding the slope and a point on the line for each of the two equations below. So each of these two equations are written in point-slope form. So let's start by rewriting this equation so we do not have this addition. What we want is y minus something equal to the slope times the quantity x minus, and then another term, our x value. So this becomes y minus 6. So we have no change on the left side of the equation, equal to a negative 3x. And now, instead of this addition, we're going to convert this to subtraction of a negative. So instead of plus 1, we're going to have minus negative 1. So x minus a negative 1, that simplifies down to x plus 1. And that's what we started with. So from this, we have a slope equal to negative 3. And now looking at our point, that ordered pair, our x value is negative 1, and the y value is 6. So we have a slope of negative 3, and the line passes through the point negative 1, 6. So now with the second equation, here we have y plus 7. So converting this to subtraction, we'll have y minus negative 7. Y minus a negative 7 is the same as y plus 7. This is equal to 3/2 x, and then this is minus 11. So from this, we have a slope of 3/2. And then with our point, we have an x value of 11 and a y value of negative 7. So this line has a slope of 3/2, and it passes through the point 11, negative 7. So let's practice with two more. Again, we're going to be given an equation, and this equation is in point-slope form. And we're asked to find the slope of that line and a point on that line. So first I'm going to rewrite this equation so that we no longer have these additions. I'm going to convert these additions to subtraction like we have in the point-slope form. So instead of y plus 2/5, we're going to convert that addition to subtraction of a negative. So we now have y minus negative 2/5 equal to, now we have negative. Well, this is negative 1. So whenever you see this negative by itself multiplied to something, this is negative 1 that we're multiplying to the quantity x plus 4. So now we have the quantity x, and instead of plus 4, we'll convert that to minus a negative 4. So negative 1, that's our slope. So m is equal to negative 1. And then looking at the ordered pair, we have x minus negative 4. So the x-coordinate value is negative 4. And the y-coordinate value is negative 2/5. So for this equation, we have addition of a positive for both coordinates. So both coordinate values end up being negative. Because when we subtract these negative values, y minus y sub 1, x minus x of 1, they become addition. Now looking at the second equation, we have y, but we don't have that minus anything. So how can we rewrite this in point and slope form? Well, this is y minus 0. Y minus 0 can be simplified to just y. And then this is equal to 1/2 x minus 3. So from here, our slope is equal to 1/2. And then for our ordered pair, for that point, the x-coordinate will be 3, and the y-coordinate will be 0. So here we have a y value of 0. That means this point is on the x-axis. So this right here is the x-intercept. So where it crosses the x-axis. A great way to learn is to practice on your own. We will discuss in a bit, but go ahead and pause your screen and do these two problems. For the first problem, we have y plus 3 equal to 5/3 times the quantity x minus 6. So on this left side of the equation, we do have y plus 3. We'll convert that to subtraction, so that becomes y minus a negative 3 equal to 5/3 x minus 6. So we have an ordered pair of 6 for the x value, negative 3 for the y value, and a slope of 5/3. For the second problem, we have y minus 1 equal to negative 7 times x minus 5/2. In both cases, we're subtracting a positive number. So our ordered pair is 5/2 for the x value and 1 for that y value, for the y-coordinate, and we have a slope of negative 7. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments. Continue practicing working with the point-slope form of a line, and I'll see you in the next video.